If there was one thing I would tell my younger self, my older self, I guess you could say, is that stop taking it so seriously, bro. I mean, I would always like overthink everything, try to make everything perfect, especially with my fitness. I would like overthink every macro. I would overthink, eating out with my family because it's like, oh, but my macros, right? Or I would overthink, not hitting my workout, and it's like, oh, I might as well just like do nothing all day. It's like I was all in or all out, right? I was the most stressed at this time, about a year ago actually, and I was like 190 pounds. The time where I was supposedly the most locked in, I was actually the most out of shape. Supposedly, quote unquote locked in, right? My version of locked in back then did not help. But now I'm at the beach. I just went out for breakfast today with my mother. We went out for some groceries. I got some nice Whole Foods, and did some content. Did all that stuff, for my personal brand. And we just went out to hit legs earlier with my homie, and we hit a good leg session. And now we're at the beach, just getting our steps in, because this is what it's truly about. It's not trying to make fitness your entire life. Because if your fitness plan, let's say, if it only relies on how perfect your days are, it's not a good plan. It's not a good plan. Because every day is going to be imperfect. It's not going to go as exactly how it is on the blueprint. And so I was just like, the more I try harder on certain things, the more I fail at them, right? Now, there's a nuance to that. Failure always teaches a lesson. But in certain cases, in most cases, when you try the least, it ends up working out. When you worry less, it ends up working out. And so I was just like so stressed at this time. I was just thinking about it right now. I'm in better shape than I was a year ago, even though I'm technically like just more freer. Like I'm going out the beach, I'm getting my steps in anywhere I want. I'm on the, even there's gonna be certain times where you're gonna have to lock in, like in the gym, you're gonna go on the treadmill, or convenience matters, right? You might need the treadmill, you might need a stairmaster, you might need a jump rope, because most of the time we're all busy. But the thing is that it doesn't have to be constant 24/7. Like fitness revolves, or my life revolves about fitness. It doesn't have to be like that. Your fitness plan or your fitness life has got to fit in to your personal life, not the other way around. And that's the biggest mistake I did, because I was just constantly, if I wasn't working, my job, I was focusing on my fitness. If not my fitness, then my job. Like it was just 24/7 back and forth, and I was the most out of shape. But now I'm going literally just eating with my mom because I love her to death. I'm eating with my dad. I'm eating out. Occasionally I will get some fast food, but it's not like I'm tempted every single time I go into a McDonald's. It's not like I'm tempted to get something all the time. And so I just want you to know, bro, if I was talking to my younger self, lock in, but don't be locked in. Like don't have it like you're trapped in a room with fitness, like as an analogy. You don't have to feel like that. Let me switch my camera. My arm's getting tired. But like this is what I truly want, is to enjoy my life. Now as I'm young, I don't want to be just focused on being I don't know, for lack of better words, a degen, only focusing on fitness. Like if it's not fitness, then it's not anything. Now, of course, it's a really important part of my life, and it should be an important part of everyone's lives. But it shouldn't be everything, My dad always used to say, and he still says it to this day, too much of a good thing is also bad. Too much of anything is also bad, right? Too much wisdom, it could be bad, right? Too much, healthy foods could be bad. If you're only eating fruits, like it's healthy, but if you're only eating fruits, you're gonna get some intoxication. Too much of anything, too much love, too much sex, too much, just of anything, no matter how good it might sound, right? It can turn into a bad thing. So there's a balance to life, Now, of course, when it's time to work out, you work out. right? I'm not saying that, oh, let me work out and just hang out with my homies while I, like, on my rest, like during between sets. No, when you're in the phase, when you're in the moment, you're in the moment. You work out. But when it's time to play, you play. When it's time to work out, you work out. And I heard it from somewhere. I don't know who said this. I think it was Bob. I think it was Bob Proctor. I think it was Bob Proctor. He said, "When you work, work. When you play, play. Don't mix the two." Search it up. I want you guys to search it up. If I was right, I'm gonna search it up as well after this video. But when you work, you work. When you play, you play. Don't mix the two. And so I was like, huh. And he would always explain. I think it's him. Assuming it's him. He would always explain that when he went to the beach with his family, he would always take his briefcase and his laptop. Right? And he was like, I gotta be working all the time because, I'm locked in. But he regretted that because he wasn't in the moment. He wasn't present. He wasn't present with his current phase of life, which is hanging out with his son. Assuming he has a son. I think that's what he said. With his wife. And so that was years ago. But I didn't really pay attention to it because I was younger. I was like probably 18, 19 years old. But now that I look back at it, it's like, yeah, like don't make everything about being so serious. Don't try to be so serious. And I'm trying my best to articulate my words right now and like try to, give you guys some value. But I think that's pretty much it with what I had to say. But fitness doesn't have to evolve your entire life, It doesn't have to take over. I used to let it take over. Like if it was a gym, I had to go to the gym. I evolved my life around what time I was going to the gym. Not even kidding. So, but a perfect plan is not a plan that relies on perfect days. A perfect plan is a plan that doesn't rely on perfect days. Let me rephrase that. A perfect plan is not a plan that relies on perfect days. A perfect plan is a plan that can work on any day. I just made that shit off the top of my head right now. I promise you, I just made that shit up right now. And I think it makes sense. That might be my motto, actually. But when it's time to work out, you work out. When it's time to go play and eat out, like if you're with your mom or your family at like some restaurant, enjoy it, bro. Enjoy it, but have a threshold when you have to stop. Like you'll know when to stop. When you stop eating, when you stop drinking, indulging into certain things, maybe sins. So that you'll have to know, you'll have to have a feeling of like, okay, this is enough, right? So because too much of anything is bad. And so this is just what I'm learning as I go throughout fitness, because I was in Mexico and Arizona back to back 2 weeks of just nonstop just eating whatever I can. Obviously in Mexico, but if you're gonna go to Mexico, the food's gonna be delicious, bro. Food's gonna be phenomenal. I ate well in Mexico. I ate enchiladas, I ate burritos, I ate tacos, chilaquiles, rancheros, horchata, the Coca-Cola, bro. Every single thing that you can think of, I ate in Mexico, right? And I came back home. I was like, fuck, I probably gained like 10 pounds, 10, 15 pounds because of everything I ate in 1 week. And I was overthinking it. And then I checked the scale. I was only like 3 to 4 pounds over. Despite of, how much I ate. But it makes sense because I was also walking a lot. And I enjoyed walking a lot. I enjoy walking. I enjoy going out the beach and working out. I enjoy it. But there's a balance between the two, right? Assuming you're not trying to be a bodybuilder. I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder. I just want to simply look great, feel great, eat whatever I want to a certain extent, but also, balance it out with fitness. And so that's the whole point of fitness, is to enjoy your life more. It's not to be, so strict on it. So when I came back from Mexico, I was like, I just ate so much on this trip. And, I feel like a little bloated because of all the water weight. But then I burnt it off like within a week. I burnt it off because it was all water. It was all water weight. And so people think they get scared when they like, fuck, that the scale went up by 3 pounds like in 2 days. I'm like, bro, it's just water weight. Usually you don't gain fat the same way that you don't gain muscle that fast. You also don't gain fat. You also don't gain fat that fast, right? It's like, people, my mom freaks out as well. It's like, I gained 2 pounds when I was doing nothing. I'm like, yeah, but just water. You probably drink water, probably had tortillas, maybe had like some carbs, because carbs is like water, essentially, right? It's glycogen. It's carbohydrate. Hydrate is the water part. And so I'm like, I learned a lesson from this. I can go and enjoy everything for the most part. I can go travel, I can do everything, as long as I'm just balancing it out with my own inputs, right? There has to be a balance. So, and obviously it's not going to be perfect, but again, a perfect plan is not a plan that relies on perfect days. A perfect plan is a plan that can work on any day, right? So that's a piece of advice I would tell my younger self just a year ago, when he was 190 pounds and like struggling and trying to be so serious and locked in and watching all these TikTok videos and you know, trying to get in shape. And the more I tried, the harder I tried, it seems like the more I failed, because I was too focused on an outcome. I was too focused on the outcome instead of focusing on the process, because my process was too rigid. It was unsustainable. So hopefully you got something from that. And I'm gonna post this right now as I'm finishing up my walk. I still have like 20 more minutes of walking. I might run it, honestly, because it's getting dark. I don't want to drive in the dark. But yeah, another YouTube video posted in like 2 days. I hope to keep consistency. I really want to keep this consistency so I can just get YouTube videos out, not try to be perfect, you know, but you know, just get them out and provide value for you guys. So I'll stop stretching this. See you guys in the next one.